Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a special guest from the Israeli Embassy in Czech Republic, Mr. Gary Koren.
Nice to be here.
Could you tell a little bit information about yourself to the audience, please?
Well, I'm staying here in Czech Republic. I enjoy it very much. I'm a professional diplomat, 28 years in diplomacy. I am married. I have 2 kids, 2 students.
Thank you. Many people are aware of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The war for the Holy Land continues over a long period of time. Could you briefly tell us the core of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict?
Yeah, I wish it was so simple, but basically, since the establishment of the State of Israel 66 years ago, the core reason was, and unfortunately still is, its lack of readiness by our Arab neighbors, including some of the Palestinians, to recognize the right of Israel to exist. Actually, the last round of conflict this August in Gaza with Hamas has to do very much with the basic positions of Hamas, which is not recognizes Israel's right to exist in any border. So if you would like to look for a basic reason, this is the basic reason.
4,500 rockets were fired at the peaceful cities. But despite this fact, only few people got killed. How would you explain that?
Well, Israel is a highly developed country, technologically and scientifically. And when our scientists realized that the imminent threat to Israeli security, and mostly to the civilians, actually the rockets and missiles, they found a way a few years ago to build a system which is called Iron Dome, which is a very unique system, doesn't exist any other place in the world.
For majority of us, it's very difficult to imagine a life in the war environment. We are not used to hear the bomb explosions or sirens. However, we heard that in Israel, people continue to live in this environment for a very long time. What do you think? Is it possible to get used to the war?
You, first of all, have preserved the hope that there will be peace. And it's part of our ethos, and it's actually Israeli national hymn, which is called Hatikva, and it means the hope. The hope is that our neighbors will realize, as it happened already with Egyptians and with Jordanians, that Israel is a given fact. It should be recognized. There should be cooperation, like cooperation that exists in Europe. And we can live peacefully together, including with Palestinians.
We heard one story that 30,000 people came to the soldier's funeral, and no one knew the soldier personally, no one. And we had a citation that the Israeli people, they feel that these people, the soldiers, they are not strange people to them, that these soldiers are someone's children. Could you explain a little bit more the cohesion of Israeli people during this conflict?
Well, it's probably, it's not mathematical formula. There are no straightforward answers, but it's again part of our society. We feel obliged to those young single soldiers, we call them single soldiers, like single moms, with big difference, who come and volunteer to serve in our army. And some of them perished, some die in the conflict. Last time, I think we had three cases out of altogether 27 soldiers that died in this operation in Gaza, and they have no one in Israel.
People in Israel are very social. They go out, hang out with their friends. But despite the fact that there's a war in the country, why they're doing it? Why they still continue to follow their normal life if there is a chance that they can be attacked in a minute?
Why shouldn't we? I mean, if our enemies are looking for some achievement, it's actually exactly that. We are not in despair. Actually, again, we feel very much reassured and strong. And we should show it also to ourselves, but also to our neighbors, that they will realize that Israel is there, it will stay forever. It's a homeland of the Jewish people, it was and it will be.
What's the current situation in Israel?
Well, despite the last round of the conflict, the basic situation is very well, and this is not the end game, and we should be ready, unfortunately, I'm saying again, very much unfortunately.
From your point of view, what does the word peace mean to an inhabitant of Israel?
I would say very simple. We would like to feel the same that people in Prague are feeling, in the sense that if you would like to consider next weekend to go to Bratislava or to Vienna, you can do it like that. And I think Israelis would like to feel the same about their capacity, ability to travel to Damascus, to Cairo, to our neighboring countries. And this is the meaning of peace.
Dear friends, what does, from your point of view, the peace means for you? Thank you for an interview, Mr. Koren. It was very lovely to have you.
Thank you, it was my pleasure.
It was a pleasure to have you here in the school, Mikhail.